So the welfare of the individual is more important than the welfare of the community. Let's define the terms. The definition of welfare from the Law Dictionary are resources and conditions needed for a healthy and comfortable living. The definition is vague because what a person considers comfortable is subjective, meaning it is up to that person to decide what is comfortable. Healthy, defined by the Law Dictionary, is a state of being free from disease or body ailment. Community, defined by the Law Dictionary, is a society of people living in the same place under the same laws and regulations and who have common rights and privileges. So, in a nutshell, community is referring to one or more individuals interacting with other individuals. An individual, defined by the Law Dictionary, is a single person as distinguished from a group. An individual is a single person. To clarify, I am arguing that the needs of a single person are more important than the needs of anyone else. It sounds harsh, but let's think about it. I, the individual, have to take care of myself before I can take care of others, the community. I am not arguing that the welfare of the community is not important, but that the community cannot exist without the individual. It comes down to motivation. Motivation, defined by the Law Dictionary, is to exert persistent effort in attaining a goal. Internal and external factors trigger desire and energy in people to continually be interested in and committed to a job, role, or subject. What motivates an individual to contribute to the welfare of his or her community? Their first motivation is their individual welfare. No one will contribute to a community unless they can benefit in some sort of way. The basic needs model, referred to as content theory of motivation, highlights the specific factors that motivate an individual. If anyone is in management, this comes straight from the textbook, Principles of Management. In short, all people have needs that want satisfied. Some are primary needs, such as those for food, sleep, and water, needs that deal with the physical aspects of behavior and are considered unlearned. Secondary needs, on the other hand, are psychological, which means that they are learned primarily through experiences. Secondary needs consist of internal states such as the desire for power, achievement, and love. The most important thing to take away from this is that all of us have different motivations, meaning that what is good for one person in the community doesn't make it good for everyone. That is why an individual's welfare is more important than the community's welfare. The United States of America was founded on the principle that the individual's welfare is more important than the welfare of the community. Our founding fathers understood that if individuals were protected under the law, they would have a reason to fight for this country. The definition of democracy given by Angel Fire involves four fundamental elements: individualism, which allows individuals to achieve the highest potential of government; liberty, which allows individuals the greatest amount of freedom consistent with order; equality, which declares all people as being equal and have equal rights and opportunities; and fraternity, which contends that individuals will not misuse their freedom, but will cooperate in creating a wholesome communities, wholesome sovereignty. From these four fundamental elements, the word individual is mentioned in three of them, and the one that individual is not mentioned is referring to rights among all individuals. Even though we were born in America and had no choice to be a part of the community or not, we have individual motivations to contribute to it. The largest conflicts in American history involved fighting for individuals' welfare. The Civil War and Civil Rights Movement. These changes in American history resulted in a better and more capable country or community, but the country or community was only benefited because of the individuals because the individuals were motivated by their individual welfare. The point of everything I said is this: the welfare of the individual is more important than the welfare of the community. I am not arguing that the community is not important, but for the community to thrive, it must first begin with the individual. The reason our country is the greatest in the world is because it is mutually beneficial for the individuals to contribute to their community. What motivates an individual to contribute to the community is their own welfare. Every citizen has their own welfare to fight for, and therefore every citizen has a reason to contribute to this community, the United States of America. Thank you.
Okay. So first off, you talked a lot about motivation. In your opinion, what is motivation? What motivates you?
My individual welfare, because I didn't write this speech for everyone in this class. I did it for my grade.
what's good for one person is not good for the community. What, in your opinion, a 20-year-old person, like what is good for you at this point in your life right now?
Well, like take for instance the healthcare law. Like I don't need healthcare right now. I can save that money, but it is good for some people. That's why there should be a choice. And just because it's good for some people, it isn't good for me because I can use that money and put it elsewhere.
But what if you need it one day? What if one day you get sick and, like right now,
Well, then I would pay. That's my choice, and I would pay for it myself.
Okay, do you believe that education is good for you right now?
Yes.
Okay, do you, if you don't mind me asking, do you receive some type of financial aid for your education?
No.
So you pay for your education completely out of pocket?
Yes.
Yourself?
With my parents' money.
Okay, so what if your parents wouldn't contribute to that, and what if you had no way to pay, you had to have a job, you had to work, and you had the possibility of having financial aid, would you use that?
Yes, probably.
Would you agree that financial aid is a form of welfare?
Yes, but not everybody has to take part in that. It's not forced on anybody.
But you agree.
They have the choice.
But you agree that it is something that benefits the community,
Yes.
as well as the individual.
Yeah, and I'm saying the community is only supported by the individual, so it is in the community's best interest to support that individual.
Okay.
And it's the individual's best interest to support the community.
Okay, and you also said that welfare has a lot to do with what you consider comfortable. What do you consider comfortable as a young person in college?
A house to live in, a place to study, money to go to the bar,
Okay.
things like that.
And do you provide your own money for all of that?
No, my parents do, but it's in their best interest to support me because I'm their child, so they want me to, I mean, not that I'm saying money gives them love from me, but I'm saying it creates a bond between us and it's
Time,
in
negative
investment.
construction.
Can I have a couple seconds of prep time?
Sure.
Good afternoon. Today, as my opponent previously pointed out, we are debating whether the welfare of the individual is more important than the welfare of the community. I will be defending the negative side, and I would like to begin by reading a quote by Helen Keller, which states, "Until the great mass of people shall be filled with a sense of responsibility for each other's welfare, social justice can never be attained." Now, I'd like to define some words for my resolution, and these come from the Oxford English Dictionary. First, the word individual is defined as one in substance or essence. Next, the word community means a body of people who live in the same place, usually sharing a common cultural or ethnic identity. And last, welfare, as defined by Black's Law Dictionary, is resources and conditions needed for healthy and comfortable living. My value today is utilitarianism, which, according to its originator, philosopher Jeremy Bentham, means that an action is approved as long as that action has an overall tendency to promote the greatest amount of happiness. My criterion for this is that welfare is something that provides a better quality of life for the greatest amount of people. My first contention is that it is necessary to provide education for those who cannot afford it themselves in order to better the quality of life of the entire community. My second contention states that a large portion of every community is made up of children, and these children deserve the best possible quality of life. The resolution states that the welfare of the individual is more important than the welfare of the community. Education is one thing that, yes, does better the individual, but in turn benefits the entire community. Individuals make up the community, and when each member of the community is educated, the whole group benefits from this. People learn from other people, and when humans live in an environment where they are constantly learning, they are happier, healthier, and more informed. If a large mass of the community is educated, everyone benefits from it, not just the individual person who has received this education. According to the United States Department of Education, the number of students receiving financial aid rises every single year. It is so important that welfare for education continues, otherwise the community will suffer. A direct quote taken from the United States News and World Report states that education has been widely documented by researchers as the single variable tied most directly to improved health and longevity. According to the same source, living in a happy and healthy environment provides each person with a much happier life. Therefore, I argue that the welfare of the community is essential in bettering the quality of life for the individual. I will now move on to my second contention. As I am arguing the negative, I believe that it is necessary to provide for those who are unable to provide for themselves, namely children. Because some parents are unable to receive a steady paycheck and provide their children with the simple necessities to live a healthy life, each person has a moral obligation to do so. Children make up a very large portion of the community, and with the absence of their health and happiness, the community as a whole will suffer. If this idea that the well-being of the individual is more important than the well-being of the community is upheld, it may as well be saying that children must be left to fend for themselves if their parents cannot provide the things they need. The children of the community will one day make up the adults of the community, and providing a better life for them right now will greatly improve the quality of the community later. According to Psychology Today, one of the top 10 ways to raise a happy child is to serve the community together. When a child sees this example set by their parent, they will follow this later in life and grow into a better individual, which in turn builds a better community, because individuals make up the community. I will now move on to refute some of my opponent's points. So he pointed out that he said something about war, and he said that war it's like in action to help an individual, but war helps the community as a whole. You don't go to war over one person usually. You go to war over something that would benefit the community as a whole. I mean, right now there's major turmoil in the Middle East because of oil. Well, we recently discovered new wells in the United States that we've begun to frack in so that the United States is bringing in oil. So now we're taking troops out from the Middle East and bringing them back home because it's better for the community. This is something that benefits the community as a whole. He also said that parents have a moral obligation to take care of their kids and that that's what they should do, and that whenever they send their kids to college and they pay for it, that that's like something that they are meant to do. But family is a community. A community isn't just a town or a city, it's more than one person. The actual definition of a community is more than one person. So a community is a family. You and your parents, you are a community. And they are doing what's best for you. They are providing for you because together you make up a community. So yes, while individually it makes them feel better about themselves, they're actually doing it to better the community. Sending you to college, giving you an education, later on will make the community more educated. And education is one of the #1 things that benefits everyone in the world. You can't say that education isn't something that everyone needs and it isn't something that everyone will one day benefit from. So thank you for your time.
Alright, so you mentioned war. When did I mention war? What war exactly?
You didn't name a specific war.
The Civil War. Because whose rights were we fighting for?
The United States rights, the North versus the South.
Well, mostly African American rights,
Yes.
based on individual rights, right? Alright, and then because of that, what is in the Bill of
But the
Rights?
slave also, sorry to cut you off, but the slaves also made up a community of people. There wasn't just one slave. There was a bunch of
Right, but we were fighting for each one to have, we were fighting for individual
Well,
rights.
we weren't fighting for one slave. We didn't take this one slave and say, we're going to go to war for you so you don't have to be a slave anymore. We went to war so the whole community had slaves.
Right, but you can consider that minority the individual, because what was good for the community, which was the majority of white people, was not to abolish slavery. It ended up being good, but at that time, it wasn't a good thing.
But, so are you saying that, okay, well, the community, all the slaves, they made up a community, like, I don't really know how else to rephrase it,
But the community is also the majority of America at that time.
a community
Right.
isn't a majority. A community is any number more than one.
Okay. You could also consider minority an individual, because those minority rights were not given.
Minority is also more than one person, which in turn is a community.
You can define community and individual different ways.
Right?
Like the family can be an individual within a community, correct?
Yes.
And a minority can be an individual within a majority.
Yes, but if you're using the term majority minority, often you mean more than one person.
I'm just saying that what was in the best interest of the United States at that time might have not been to abolish slavery, correct?
No, what was in the best interest of the United States at the time was to abolish slavery.
And everyone agreed with that. The community did. The
Yes,
community
the
agreed with
community
that.
of slaves.
Rebuttal.
I'm pretty sure it was 50-50.
Rebuttal.
Rebuttal?
Yeah. You're.
Okay,
Yeah,
then we
you're.
get 2 minutes for
Sure.
rebuttal.
You want your?
Yeah.
Or it's 1 minute. Yeah, 2 minutes for rebuttal. Sorry.
Okay.
Do you need to prep, or are you good?
I'm gonna prep.
Okay. You used about 1 minute and 20 seconds here, prep. I'm not sure at what point I should be prompting you guys for times or so.
Let's go up there for 2 minutes.
You good? You have 10 seconds of prep left.
Alright, so just to go back to the main point, the individual starts, the community starts with the individual. Without the individual, a community does not exist. So that means the individual has to take care of themselves before they can take care of anyone else, the community. So what I'm saying, what is the first thing, everybody's here has been on an airplane, so most likely. And the first thing they tell you is when the oxygen masks come down to put it on yourself before you help anyone else. Because you have to help yourself and so you don't pass out, and then you're unable to help anyone else. So the thing behind that, don't help yourself before you help anyone else. And then, community and individual defined. The community is most likely the majority because minorities don't have the say in a large community. So that is why individual rights are so important in America, because everyone has something to fight for because their individual rights are laid out in the Bill of Rights and in the Constitution. So that's why our country is so great, because everybody has a stake in it and everyone has something to fight for. And then the thing with higher education that Caroline stated, not everyone wants higher education, and it's not great for everyone. Some of the biggest entrepreneurs of our time, like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, were college dropouts, and so it's not good for everyone. It's good for most people, or the majority of people, but you can't put a blanket over everyone and say you have to go get a college education. And then,
Time for the negative rebuttal.
ourselves first, and we have to better ourselves first before we can worry about the community. When we better ourselves, we inadvertently better the community. Like, we're not trying, but by bettering ourselves, we are bettering the community. So, I mean, yes, I'm going to work on myself, but I'm going to work on myself so that I can create an environment that's better for people to live in. That's a good place, it's a happy place, it's a positive place. As I said in my constructive, people who live in a happy and a healthy environment are happier. So if you create a happy environment, you as an individual will benefit from this. He also brought up the thing about the airplane and that you're supposed to put your mask on yourself first. I'm glad he brought that up because if you've ever been on an airplane, you know that they say, put your mask on yourself first unless you're with a child or an elderly person who cannot help themselves. So isn't that a form of welfare? We have welfare to help the elderly and children. So there you go. Then he said that with war, everyone has something to fight for, and that's why we have war. We go to war to better the community. The thing that everyone has to fight for is a happier and healthier place to live in, a better community. So the reason we go to war is to better the place that we live. We don't want to be living in a country where there's turmoil. So as a community, we gather up, we make these teams, we go to war so that we can live in a happier place. And that's what welfare is. It's living in a happy place. The actual definition of welfare is creating an environment where you can live and thrive in a positive way. He said that Steve Jobs and Bill Gates are college dropouts and that not everyone wants higher education. Steve Jobs and Bill Gates couldn't have been college dropouts unless they went to college. So everyone clearly does want higher education. They went to college because they wanted to be educated. So they started out in college and they realized, hey, this isn't for me, so maybe college isn't for everyone. But their mindset at the beginning was, I do need to go to college to make a better life for myself. The only other things I have to say is that welfare, it really does benefit everyone. Most of the people who are on welfare are 30-year-old single moms who actually need it. So welfare is necessary. They go and they get welfare. They don't just go and say, oh, I don't feel like getting a job. They actually need it. They go to places where they have people who screen them. They go to their home and see what their living situation is like. And they don't give it to just anyone. They really do have to need it. They really have to be in need for it. And they know that by giving it to them, they will better the community. So yes, individualism is important, and you do better the individual by offering them welfare, but in turn, you are bettering the community because individuals make up the community.
And that's time. All right, second affirmative rebuttal. You have 1 minute.
Alright, so Caroline was actually talking about welfare, like the actual thing, when welfare defined, like I said before, is our resources and conditions needed for a healthy and comfortable living. So comfortable is subjective because not everyone considers what other people think are comfortable for them. So that's why it's important to base that on the individual's thought instead of everyone's thought. And then family. So she mentioned family. Family, you can consider that an individual, like I said before, because it's within a community, it's the minority. And so it is in the family's best interest to invest in their children and just to form a bond with them and support them. And so nobody's forcing them to do that. And then welfare, I'm not saying welfare is a bad thing, even though we aren't talking about that. The actual thing, welfare, is not a bad thing.
Wrap it up.
All right.
Okay.